Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. I want to go over a trade that I took on the 11th of March. That was last week, Wednesday. So last week, Wednesday, I was looking at this AM low, AM high, and we had another Asian high up here. Traded up through, took out the high. We then proceeded to open up at 10. We traded higher as well as lower. Took out this high up here. So then I had to wait for 10 to close. Okay, we closed bearish, so which prompted me to in the next candle then go in, and I was able to hunt for short entries. So for this, I am going to show you the entry on the 5 minute, and then we will move over to the MNQH 2026 contract, which is the previous contract, as we now have rolled over to the next delivery contract. So looking at price action coming down immediately, we have a breaker block as well as a inversion. They catch my eye. I took an entry right over here at 11:10, which is right here. Took an entry right in this proximity. Stop was up here, and I had to take profit down here. So with that idea in mind, let's move over to MNQH 2026. So I can give you the exact levels on the chart here where I took that entry. So I'm gonna go off of my journal here. I'll be posting these price levels in a screenshot at the end of the video. That's what I've done the last time, and I'll post them again. This was a trade that I took on my live account. A micro. I took one micro here. Entry pro. Let me just fix this. The entry price was 25,043 even. That was the entry price. So there was the entry. The stop was sitting roughly about here. Inversion. Okay, so this was a 0.18% stop I had on this trade. Looking at price right into the breaker block here, into this inversion. We moved away from it. We then traded back up. And I executed a position, placed my stop, and it started rallying. I don't believe we're going to be able to see the 1 minute. Okay, we can. So on the 1 minute, it did start rallying. It started rallying slowly. Mind you, I did not look at the 1 minute. I was watching a 5 minute. And I took about... I took 5 handles from this one, guys. 5 handles. So it's about $50. To be exact, it was $49 on this one for 5 handles. And then it ended up rallying a bit lower. back to the 5 minute and look at this. So the take profit would roughly have been in this area to get 10 handles. 10 handles would equate to roughly about $100. So about 5 handles booked here. And I was content with that and I closed it off. Reason being it was a bit slow to move. So I said, okay, you know what? I have 5 handles right now. I'm going to take the 5 handles and I'm going to be done with it. I'm going to see if it does want to rally to 10 handles. And that is something that I'll journal. So that's what I did. I took, took the took it off and I tape rate the rest of the setup as it traded down lower and then hit the take profit. So that's what happened with that one. And shortly after, about a minute or so, we had this candle open up and then we really traded it down lower and ended up coming back up and closing up higher. So 10 handles would have been made there, but I elected to take my 5 handles and be done with it. So nonetheless, that was $49 on this trade that was made. That'll be posted. The screenshot of that will be posted towards the end of the video. And you can go in and look at it on your own chart. The exact exit price, I have this here as well. Let's see, profit level 25,019. It'll be a little bit higher than this, 25,019 even. Okay, so it was roughly about there. Okay, so there you go. That was roughly about it, right there. So that was about it. It's about a 9. So it's about roughly about almost 5 handles. So this one is pretty much gonna be the last one that I will be giving you dollar amounts. But this has been a little miniature series of how I would be approaching Jade's using Jade's strategy, and I can see why he's using this strategy because it just kills off so much. Well, I guess I could say so many nuances and questions that would arise in your mind, like, okay, when do I start hunting for an entry? When do I go to the lower time frame? When should I not take a position? When is it not ideal for me to take a position? When do we have good conditions? What time should I be taking a trade? What time should I not be taking a trade? Some of those things, like what time you should be looking between 8, 9, and 10. Anytime that price gives you the setup. But really, what this basically what's happening here with this approach is you're marking out the liquidity in the form of a previous day's session high or low. So in other words, it's basically a specific high that was inside of a specific time in price. Okay, because you're looking at something that was an Asian high or a London or an AM or a PM, something like this. That is a high or a low that's in price at a specific time. So that was an important time for the algorithm. So what happens is price runs and it seeks liquidity in the form of buy or sell stops. So in essence, with you, let me show you. Okay, we have to go back to this. In essence, with you marking out these levels, okay, these highs and this low, what happened here? At 9 a.m., we traded higher and we took the buy side liquidity above this high. Does this mean I jump into a lower time frame to take an entry? No, because this is not what the model tells you to do. So that's what the model simplifies. It tells you exactly when you're allowed to go into the lower time frame and take an entry. So price did this. Do I now need to go down and start hunting? No, there's no hunting. You need to still wait. What does the next candle do? Do you get the closure back inside the range in the next candle? Or do we take the high? We reject the high and we get the bearish closure. So what happens in this candle essentially? What happens here? You get accumulation, manipulation, and then expansion. So in essence, what has happened here is this was the Judas swing. Okay, this was the Judas swing up hunting for the liquidity before the expansion move comes into play and price then rallies for the day. So that is something that is worth its gold. It's worth so much in terms of just having this model. You don't have to worry about the manipulation. You're not going to take a trade here and get caught up in the Judas swing, in the manipulation of the move before the real move even happens for the day. So this is what happens here when you sit here and you wait for price to take the high and reject the high and close back down bearish. That's what's happening. You're sitting, you're being patient, you're allowing price to go on its stop hunt, the Judas swing. And then you get the confirmation, bearish close. Okay, now I can go in hunting for shorts. So the Judas swing has already taken place. So I'm looking for expansion. That right there should be a light bulb moment to you. And I can very clearly understand why Jade would take an approach like this and apply this approach to his trading. This is how he went into the market and he took all these prop firm accounts and he made these massive withdrawals because it's such an easy strategy to trade with. I don't have to sit here worrying, okay, what am I today? Am I short? Am I long? Are we consolidating? I don't sit and worry about that. Do I worry if we're going to go long? Are we going to go short today? Nope. Now everybody's going like, oh, how can you take a trade if you don't know where it's going to go? I'm not sitting here going into a daily and being like, is it going to go long? Am I going to go short today? I'm not sitting here worrying about that. And we are inside of a consolidation profile. We're still inside that for a higher time frame, pretty much. So I'm not doing that. Not going into a 4 hour saying, okay, am I going to go long? Am I going to go short? No, 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 no. I'm not doing that. Not at all. what I'm doing is I'm going on to a daily. I'm looking, okay, what is the daily profile? What are we doing? We're consolidating. We're consolidating. Okay, I see. Okay, we got some highs sitting up there. We're at the low right now. So maybe it's going to rally up higher. Okay. That's all I'm doing. I'm just looking at it. Just looking at it and saying, okay, this is what type of uh, market structure we have. Okay, there's a possibility of it doing this, but I'm not going to put any I'm not going to force myself into one bias or another. I'm not doing that. Not at all. Not at all. Okay, so I'm just looking at the higher perspective, just seeing, being aware of what is going on. That's all I'm doing. When I get to the hourly chart, this is when I come in here and I say, okay, we got this low, we got this high, and we got this high. So nothing is taken out yet. So there's nothing to do yet. We rally. Okay, we just took out this AM high. Do we, in the next candle, close back inside this range? That's the only thing I'm focusing on at that moment in time. Do we close back inside the range? Because if we do, then I'm going to be looking for shorts. That's what's going to happen. What did we do? We took out another high. So we take out that high. So unless we come back and close inside this high, we're not going to be looking at it anymore. Okay, we're not going to be looking at it anymore. So we stabbed above it. We closed back inside the range. So what happens right there? So if this candle trades above the high, and if we get a bearish closure, then in the next, as soon as this candle closes, I can go in and I can do what? I can start hunting shorts. Bam. That's where I get the bias. I look at what price is doing, and that's where I get the bias. Because what happened here? Judas swing. Fake move. Buy stops. Buy stops hunted. Then what do we trade? Equal lows. We trade equal lows. Am I looking specifically for these beforehand? No. I'm not putting myself in any sort of bias. I'm looking at this Judas swing movement and I'm waiting for price to give me this bearish closure. If I didn't get a bearish closure here, then I would have to wait until the next candle to give it to me. And if it doesn't give it to me, then there's no trade. Then that's just a day that there wasn't anything to do. And sometimes you're going to get those. So we got the bearish closure. So what does the model say? The model says if I get the bearish closure, then and only then I can drop down into a 5-minute and I can start hunting for an entry pattern to go short. So that's what I did. Drop down to a 5. Okay. What am I presented with? 11. So, okay, 11 o'clock. This is what you see. Immediately, breaker block. Inversion. What do we do here? We traded through it impulsively. So we had the impulse move. What else did we have? We took out the stops. Judas swing. We had that. If we look at this range here, if we look at this low to this high, or even this low to this high, in relative terms, would you be in looking at where price is at the moment, which is here? In relative terms, would you be in a discount or would you be in a premium of this range? Above 50%, which should answer your question, premium. Okay, price traded into my breaker block, inversion. So I'm still looking at it and say, okay, it's traded into the breaker block. I'd like to see, a little bit of a, because I was looking at entering right there. right there at this specific price point. Okay. So okay, trade it lower. In the next one, I said, okay, let me see. And I said, okay, I'm going for it. Taking the trade. Price has given me what I wanted to see. I'm taking in. And beforehand, I already know my stop's going to be right there. And I'm going to have a take profit uh, somewhere down here, which, like I said, I ended up taking the, okay, well, this one is 22%, but I ended up taking it early anyways. That's what you would do. That's what the model says. Go in, look for your entry now. That's what I did. Look for my entry short. Short. No guess game. Short. Okay. So there's no guessing about bias. Isn't that wonderful? No guessing. Am I going to be long? Am I going to be short? What am I going to do? See, that messes with your mind. If you're thinking, am I going to be long? Am I going to be short? What do I need to do? Which, price is doing this. It kind of looks like it wants to do this. So should I do this? It just removes all of that. And you come in here and price gives you the bullish or the bearish rejection. And then I do, because price has done this. So I do this. So it tells you what to do. Prices gave me the bearish closure. So what do I need to do? I need to go in to a lower time frame, look for an entry, short. Short. It's very specific. Okay, short. So you look for your short entry, you take it, you get into that position, and all you can do that is left for you to do is to manage the position, because you already know before the fact, this is where my stop's going to be, this is where my entry is most likely going to be, and this is where my take profit's going to be. Before you even get into the position, before price is even messing around about this, you should know the entry is going to be there. At 11, you come in, this is what you see. Okay, that's my entry. That's going to be my stop. That's my take profit. That's it. It's done. Before I get in, I know. No guesswork. So once you press the button, you get into it. The only thing you can do is manage the position. So you look, are my PDRAs being respected? If they're being respected, the trade is valid. Okay. It's as easy as that. If you rally into a profit, and let's say, okay, I say I want to rally, per example, 5 handles. I take a short of 2 micros, and I want to pay myself something at 5 handles. Then you follow that model. Then you say, okay, 5 handles has been traded. So I'm going to take one position off. And maybe then you want to put the stop loss into a profit. So then that's what you do. You follow the model and you do that. That's going to be different for everybody. It's going to come down to what makes you feel comfortable. That's what it's going to come down to. Do I feel comfortable being in the position after it's rallied 10 handles? Do I want to take something? And then I feel relaxed. I feel like I can move the stop to entry and not have any impulse about price turning around and stopping me out at break even. So you look at those things within yourself and you decide what's going to make you feel comfortable, what's going to make you feel content. And you make a model that way. And you follow that plan when you've executed the entry. It's always a wonderful idea to pay partials always pay the trader. They always pay the trader. It's always a good idea to leave a runner on with your stop in a profit because you've already paid yourself. So it doesn't matter if it turns around and it hits that stop because you've already paid yourself. You don't care. You don't care. Okay. So those are the things that this model does for you. Very important points. Very, very, very. Those are stumbling blocks that 90% of people struggle with. 99% of people struggle with these. They stomp their toes on, am I going to be long? Am I going to be short today? Pro price is really rallying. Looks like it wants to go higher. Should I long? Then what happens? You doubt. Okay, you start doubting it. And it messes with your mind as a new trader because you're not really exactly sure what you're looking for. Okay, so this completely removes that out the door for you. Okay, no guesswork. The Judas swing takes place. It shows its hand to you. And after the fact, price closes bearish. Took the high, rejected it, bearish closure. What do? You go into a lower time frame and you short. It stood that point precise. You short. Now, if we take the same scenario and we took the low instead of the high, and we rejected the low, and we ended up closing bullish, then I would be in here looking for a long. Simple as that. Remember what happens if price took the high, but we closed above the high. What do I need to do? In the next candle, I need to wait for price to give me a bearish closure. Back inside the range. If I get that, then I can go into a lower time frame looking for a short. Or if we reject the high but we get a bullish closure, what do I need to do? In the next candle, I need to see a bearish move. And then I can go into a lower time frame looking for a short. So this model really, really is a great model. And I can see why Jade would take something like this and why he would throw it into a trading plan or into a model. And he would release it because it's so simple, but yet, it takes all the ambiguity out of it, all the guesswork out of it, and it gives you precise instructions. 1, 2, 3, done. That's all I have to say. Hopefully you guys will learn something from this. Until I see you in the next one, stay safe and go well.